Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Benjamin, and today I've got something a little bit different. I kind of wanted to do something a little bit more laid back, relaxed, and silly today. So, this abomination before you is a no rules redistricting of Virginia. So, yes, all the rules are probably broken. But I also wanted to make it like people think of when they think a classic gerrymander, because yeah, it's bad. It's bad. And surprisingly, Virginia, the Democrats have pretty good geography, because even with breaking all the rules, trying to keep it somewhat not, just squiggles on a map, but actually trying to have some sense and logic behind it. They still get 5 7 districts, and I had to make 3 that were somewhat competitive. Now, this is with the composite. If we go to President 2020, actually the 6 gets a little bit more Republican. Those don't really change. Senator in 2020, yeah, it gets more competitive for the Democrats. Senator 2018, more competitive, obviously. Governor in 2017, still holding up. Which, actually, if I remember correctly, that was the most Democratic data set. Because everything else, if I remember correctly, is more or less, we're already on Lieutenant Governor. Are we? Okay. President 2016, yeah. And, of course, the others are just various. So, actually, this map holds up. So it's not as silly as it would first seem, because, like I said, we go to the 2020, which is the most recent data set. It's still holding up pretty well. Now, there's obviously some refinement that I could easily do, where maybe I make these districts less Republican in order to maybe make it so I can carve up another district, but realistically, it's not feasible. I'm going to put the county lines on to kind of show you what I've done. Obviously, there's much I can do with the 9th. I can take Roanoke, and that's really about it. Now, this is interesting. I sneak into Henrico County a little bit with this district here, the 5th. The current 5th actually stretches all the way from this area down through here, and is a pretty ugly district. The 6th, I stretch it all the way, take up Charlottesville, and then all the way over into the Richmond area. The 1st, instead of being nice and compact up in this area, it snakes in and takes up some of these areas down here. And actually, if I get rid of the partisan leans for everything, actually, partisan leans might be maybe map colors. No. It's really difficult to show where the county lines are, actually, with that blue color. And it doesn't really help to take the color off. But yeah, so snakes in around Richmond, and then snakes the other direction around Richmond. The 2nd, pretty self-explanatory. The 3rd, basically, if there was a red precinct, I used it just to fill up population. The 4th, it does this very, very, very ugly number. And then, of course, you've got 3 districts in Northern Virginia. There's no real helping that if you're a Republican. Obviously, I could do the same thing with the Democrats, and it would actually probably be an even uglier map against the Republicans if I did that. Actually, if I were to go map, I've also decided to do a not unreasonable House of Delegates, or at least my attempt at a not unreasonable House of Delegates. Because of the way I can't get the site to work, so these 3 precincts are unassigned. And let's pretend this isn't embedded, but technically that's an issue. But overall, it follows some sort of logic, right? Kept everything reasonable, compact. There are some exceptions to that, but in general, I didn't try to make them snaky. I didn't try to make them, like, purposefully biased one way or another. I didn't look at partisan data. I made sure to keep voting groups intact. Try not to make any that were, racially biased or anything like that. I think it's a map that overall makes some sense. And I think I've got it on the composite data, which is not an unreasonable data set for the Commonwealth. And this is what it looks like. Now, that's a lot of red, but actually, I think what it winds up being is the Democrats have a few seats advantage, but there's enough competitive seats, in my opinion, that it could go the other way. And a lot of that is because there's just so many seats up in Northern Virginia over here. And maybe I could have drawn Virginia Beach a little bit more fairly towards the Republicans. And maybe there's not much you can do about the rest of the Commonwealth. There's also some finagling I would prefer to do. If we go to look at the data sets, Republicans actually weirdly do better in the 37th than the composite shows. 57th would flip. I don't know exactly what this data set would show. But obviously, Northern Virginia is much more blue, and there's also areas that are much more favorable to the Democrats in that data set. Flip to Senator, well, it obviously is going to flip more Democratic. Warner across the Commonwealth in general. Senator 2018. Again, very similar story. Go to governor in 2017. It's a little bit of a different story, and so you could actually make an argument that this is gerrymandering in favor of the Democrats, but there's a lot of competitive seats in this one, and I think actually the Republicans do win a majority in this one. If anybody wants to actually count the number of GOP districts, you can actually see all of them. So since there's 100 seats in the House of Delegates, go figure. If you can count one side, you'll know how many was won. Flip it to Attorney General in 17. It's Lieutenant Governor, and actually all of those Virginia Beach districts flipped. Oops, sorry. And like I said, it's a map that is actually surprisingly competitive. We flip that to President in 2016, and well, you can see the Donald Trump that doesn't really do well in the suburbs. Now, the one thing I'm waiting for is the 2021 governor's election results to be added as a data set, because that should be coming up pretty quick, and I really hope to see what it looks like. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. Hope y'all enjoyed. I'll see y'all next time. Likes, comments, subscriptions always do help, and I greatly appreciate them. Hope y'all are looking forward to a very Merry Christmas, and pretty soon a Happy New Year. And see if we can get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Anyway, take it easy. Bye-bye.